Good morning, students. Welcome back after a long summer break. I hope everyone is hale and hearty. Before the vacation, we had done two chapters, Matter and Atomic Structure. Now we start with the third chapter, Language of Chemistry. To start with, let's consider the following situations in our daily life. What happens to milk when left at room temperature during summers? Have you ever seen grapes getting fermented? What happens to the food when it is cooked? The food in our body gets digested. What happens when we respire? Have you ever seen iron getting rusted when left exposed to humid atmosphere? Plants manufacture food by the process of photosynthesis with the help of carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Substances like paper, dry grass, petrol, wood, etc. burn in presence of oxygen to produce carbon dioxide, water vapor and energy. Foam or lather is produced when we use soaps and detergents. Students, do you realize in all the above situations, the nature and the identity of the initial substance have somewhat changed? So we say whenever a chemical change occurs, a chemical reaction has taken place. Okay? Now we define chemical reaction. Chemical reactions are processes in which atoms of one or more substances are rearranged to form different chemical compounds. A chemical reaction is always represented by a chemical equation. Now, so we define chemical equation. A chemical equation is the symbolic representation of a chemical reaction in the form of symbols and formulae. We have already learned the symbols of various elements, the first 20 elements of the periodic table, isn't it? Also, we have learned how to write chemical formula of various chemical compounds. A chemical formula tells us the number of atoms of each element in a compound. It contains the symbols of the atoms of the element present in the compound as well as how many atoms of each element are present in the form of subscript. While writing down the chemical formula of a compound, the valency of the component element should be kept in mind. You must be remembering that we use the crisscross method of writing down the chemical formula of a compound. In a chemical reaction, we need to be acquainted with two terms, reactants and products. Reactants are those substances that take part in a chemical reaction and undergo a change, while products are the substances that is formed as a result of chemical reaction. In most chemical reactions, two or more substances called reactants interact to create different substances called products. A chemical reaction is represented by a chemical equation. Now, there are two ways of representing a chemical equation. The first one is a word equation. A word equation gives the names of the reactants and the products involved in a chemical reaction. For example, hydrogen and oxygen react to form steam. The second example is carbon plus oxygen giving you carbon dioxide. Here also we have written everything in words. The second way of writing is a molecular equation. A chemical reaction can also be written in the form of symbols and formulae. So here hydrogen, oxygen react to form water. We write H2 for hydrogen, O2 for oxygen and H2O for water. The second example is Mg plus O2 giving you MgO. So Mg stands for magnesium, O2 stands for oxygen and MgO stands for magnesium oxide. So you can see how we can represent a chemical reaction with the help of symbols and formulae in a chemical equation. Here are the steps of converting a word equation into a molecular equation. So we write down the word equation, write down the formula of the reactants on the left hand side and formula of the products on the right hand side, and then convert it into a molecular equation like Ca plus N2 giving you Ca3N2. Here note the formula of calcium nitride. We write down the formula of calcium nitride by exchanging the valencies. Okay? Now children, no matter what the chemical reaction is, it will always follow the law of conservation of mass. Law of conservation of mass states that mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. Thus, the amount of matter does not change before and after the reaction. Here is an example. 100 grams of mercuric oxide when heated will produce mercury and oxygen. Mercury 93 grams and oxygen 7 grams. So 93 plus 7 comes to be 100. So the amount of matter before and after the reaction remains the same. Keeping this law in mind, whenever we write down a chemical equation, it should be a balanced chemical equation. A balanced chemical equation is one in which the number of atoms involved in the reactant side is equal to the number of atoms in the product side. We will be studying about balancing of chemical equations further in the next class in details. That's all for today. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. Thank you.